Yeah, and then so Tyler and I were down at the All American game this past week down in Miami. Tyler and I were kind of doing a lot of the behind the scenes work, I'd say, like at the hotel, the stadium, locker room, just setting things up, making sure like kind of behind the scenes the event was running well, trying to do our best, and but fortunate that we got to go down. It was an awesome event. 3 Illinois guys were down there representing, and Caden Wozniewski at 2027 from McHenry, Landon Tomey and Ethan Bass, both 2026s. Um, really cool event. On Thursday was like the player check-in at the hotel. Kind of came through. We handed them gear, got them set up with jerseys. A lot of the partners were there that were kind of handing out their products, kind of giving them some tips and advice on how they can maybe help them, things like that. Friday was the workout day, and then also a home run derby, but just your typical like showcase setting, BP, infield, defensive workouts, all of our athletic testing, things like that. And then on Saturday was the gameplay, and it was the 2026 class versus the 2027 class. So really cool event. But Ty, I'll kind of turn it over to you if there's anything you wanted to add. I think probably a big takeaway for you was Sean Casey, former Reds player, was the head coach for the 26s. I know that was pretty neat for you to see.
It was, internally still, I think 9-year-old me is still cussing me out for not, walking up to him and asking for a picture. But it sounds like, he was such a fan favorite that, hopefully he's back again next year. And maybe I'll work up the courage to let him know that I'm a huge Reds fan. But
Don't
no,
let
it
him
was
hear
great.
all the negative stuff, man. I was just thinking
he
about
might
that.
he might feel the same because he's the mayor of Cincinnati, is what they call him. So he might feel the same. Awesome event. It's crazy how much better it gets every single year. Gavin, we've been lucky enough to be at all three of them so far. And I was kind of thinking about that the other day, like how far it's come from when it was in Milwaukee in 2023. The last 2 years have been in Miami. Like I'm thinking about Milwaukee a couple years ago, Gavin, like at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
we had like basically 2 rooms.
Yeah.
And this year we had an entire floor of a hotel all dedicated to players lounge, a room where they get all their gear, staging areas, to store all the stuff they get. Mizuno had their own room. It's so crazy to see how far it's come. I want to shout out like Sean Duncan, Steve Nielsen, Matt Yarber, Chris Jelinek, Kurt Saberi. I mean, the details in the hotel with like our branding and our signage was incredible. Like the 14th floor was all dedicated to this event at the hotel, and like there's a sticker on the 14th floor button of just our logo. Like in every single elevator. We had signage in every single elevator. They hired a muralist to design a mural just for this event, which was kind of like the centerpiece for this year's All-American game. So, man, I just on the details, it's incredible. Gavin, I thought like we're sitting with Dunk Saturday night and you ask him, you're like, in 2005, did you ever envision like this being what the company is now? And he's like, no, like it's crazy to see how far it's come. So really cool experience. I'm glad, we're obviously fortunate we get to go down and help put on that event for the nation's best players. So yeah, that's what I got. I love going down. Excited for next year.
No, I was just gonna say that the button looked really cool on the
Yeah.
hotel. Like I saw someone posted that. It was such like a little detail, but I thought that was like really really cool.
I think for me that was like, so basically I guess to add too, on that 14th floor they had like obviously your typical painted walls or whatever, but they had someone come in and essentially put wallpaper up of the muralists that designed all this stuff literally on the entire floor. It was I didn't know that was even possible to do. But when we saw that the sticker on the 14th floor had like was on the button or whatever, it's like such a small detail, but for me that was like holy cow, like they literally thought of everything. And then on top of that, I forgot about this, Tyler, while you were talking, but we were in Tyler and I were eating dinner together one night in our room, and we were just scrolling through Instagram. I think it was after the workout day, and the national account had posted a video of like the workout recap essentially, and Tyler just got the volume on listening to it, and he's like, wait a sec, is this like song specific to this event? They had ended up talking to Mike Salucci. He was the vice president of, I think, social media is his title. They hired a rapper to make a rap about the event. So they were talking about like Shooter Hunt. I think they talked about Dunk in the song. It was crazy. They talked about like people from last year.
I gotta get a copy of this song. I gotta listen to this thing.
It was pretty good.
Well,
it was pretty good.
I'm glad you name drop Shooter. That's definitely somebody else I need to shout out, because I believe he, is the figurehead in getting these players here. The game was incredible. The talent is no joke. So just wanted to shout out Shooter as well. Same with Salucci and obviously Soroka as well. Like, our national guys at an event like this are like second to none. So just wanted to shout out those few guys too.
You mentioned the players, and just I was not there, so watching it from afar, at the All-American game at the Super 60, like, you're gonna get guys that have huge velo, right? Like that's why a lot of these guys are famous. They throw very hard, but what I loved was I saw so many nasty off-speed pitches. Some of the change-ups that we were highlighting on social media, some of the breaking balls, and maybe they were still throwing for the radar gun, but like those guys have real weapons and real secondaries and real arsenals, and that was cool to see just on the social media side.
And I think for Tyler and I, just as young, people in the scouting world, you're always trying to learn. Going to an event like this it really just helps you then go back to an Illinois event and really, like, when I grade these guys out at an event, what is this player actually? What is their future actually going to be? Are they comparable defensively to, one of the top kids from the entire country at shortstop? Do they move the same? Do they have a good arm like these guys? Like, it's super helpful from that perspective too. You just get to learn a lot. And I think talking about Caden Wozniewski at the event, I know we've all been super pumped about him, and obviously the velo and the stuff is awesome, but we've always liked the compete and the competitor factor that he has. And he went out and just shoved. Like, he threw 3 fastballs by one of the top 26s in the country and struck him out. And I think it just goes to show, like, hey, we've been on this guy and we believed in him, and he really continued to show on a national stage against the best in the country that he means business, and he's a legitimate prospect in that 27 class.
You mentioned it, like going down and seeing those players and being young scouts. Like, that's what it's all about. You have to see what it's supposed to look like. Whether it's going to big league games, college games, pro ball games, but you're seeing the best players in the country that'll all be, looked at heavily for the draft coming up. And then you also have to see average players. You have to see good players. And I think what makes our job so unique is, like, these pro scouts, like, they're looking at, 18-year-olds that are coming out of high school, and then they're looking at like college aged guys for the draft. Man, we're looking at young guys and trying to project on them, 8th graders, freshmen, sophomores, and then also these seniors, these JUCO guys we're seeing. So it's hard. It is a hard dynamic, and that's only going to help you moving forward is seeing guys like that. It'll make it a little harder going back and seeing some non-All-American guys as well. But that's going to be so good for calibrating your eyes.
And Tyler, one last thing I just wanted to mention about the event, and then feel free to get in on anything you may have. But just shouting out the partners that were there, because, I mean, really, like, they helped put on such an awesome event, give out so many items, really, to the players, like the Phorm guys. I know we've talked about them a lot, but, like, you give them a bag, like a Phorm bag full of protein powder. I didn't look in the bag, so I don't know. So I'm just assuming it's their protein powder, like creatine or something, and like their beef sticks and their snacks. Like, Mizuno's there giving out all kinds of bats, gloves. Like, they bring their guys from Japan that string the gloves, and they get it formed to like exactly how the player wants it. Twin Tack was there with their grips, and Camwood Bats is there. Versed Cancer was there raising money for, I think it was pediatric brain cancer, and they brought a kid right now that has cancer, and he got to come to the event and throw out the first pitch and hang out with the players, and even just seeing how like the kids interacted with him was just super cool. Dick's Sporting Goods, I know, was giving out like $100 gift card. So I don't know. I just thought it was really cool and kind of special to see some of these other companies also helping out and kind of really making the event awesome for these kids too.
Totally, and I got to throw a few more shout outs because, I feel like that week is such a blur, and like I'm trying to remember everything that goes on from that weekend, but like a few more people to shout out, like Colin McGowan, our tech guy, was integral last weekend. Todd Fine, Adam Brass, Anna Enzyme, like coordinating all the gear these kids got. Like I don't know if there's a way to go back into like our national accounts Instagram story, but like these kids would like post what they got, and like all of the stuff that they get at an event like this, it covers like their entire bed of the hotel. Like it's insane, the amount of stuff that they get, and just seeing like how appreciative like some of these kids were to be there, was really cool. And then one last thing I want to shout out is the awards banquet. Our guy Landon Tomey was awarded the leadership award for this event, which is something that I believe was pulled by all the coaches, players, partners as well. Hey, who exemplifies like the best leadership around here? Who's interacting the best with everyone? And Landon Tomey won that award, which I think probably doesn't come as much as a surprise to us on this call, being around Landon for a few years now. So just want to shout that out. He's a great kid. Loved being around him last week, as well as Caden and Ethan. So really proud of the Illinois guys we brought down.
Yeah, I think that'll kind of wrap up the event, Tyler. I mean, I feel like trying to encapsulate everything there. I think that kind of covers it. I mean, our Illinois guys that showed well. It was awesome to see them down there. So